You remember that nerdy kid, the one in middle school who spent a lot of time on the internet and dressed up in weird costumes? And sure, all that time on the internet and computers netted me a good job, but it wasn't my passion. That passion? Photography. And it turns out that photography was something that was already in my blood. So if you like cameras, film, chemistry, history, adventure, and a little bit of exploration, then I think we're going to get along just fine. Hey there friends, welcome back to the channel. My name's Alex Laux and today I have a developer review for you. Yes, I will be reviewing Rollei Supergrain, which is probably the closest thing we have to a universal developer next to Diafine, but without having to adjust your film speed or trying to find the stuff. So let's head back to the studio. I can tell you a little bit more about Supergrain, its history, and how to mix it up. And I'll see you back here in a few. So when it comes to developers, Rollei Supergrain is one that I discovered during the pandemic. You're bored, you're browsing photographic supply websites, and you just end up falling down a rabbit hole. Supergrain came up as other customers bought this when I was looking at Adox FX39 too. So I picked up my first bottle and got to use it. And the interesting thing is that this is a modern production of another developer called Amlico AM74. Unfortunately, unlike things like cameras and films, developers don't have a lot of historical information online, so I wasn't able to discover anything more than that. However, one thing Amlico AM74 is described as a universal semi-leveling fine-grained developer for modern T-grain films. It uses hydroquinone as the primary developer, and unlike other developers I've looked at and reviewed, that's about it for Supergrain. I don't know when it was first introduced or who invented it, so if you do know, I'd appreciate it if you left it in the comments below. Supergrain is a liquid concentrate developer, making it ready to use right out of the bottle. However, you do need to dilute it with water to make a working solution. But you don't have to faff around with additional water, powder, or add any extra steps. You can just mix it with water and you are good to go. What I really like about it is that it pours relatively easy. It's nothing like Ilfotec HC or Black, White, and Green. In terms of viscosity, I would rate it closer to something like Ilfotec LC29 or Ilfosol 3. The shelf life is not listed, but if I were to guess, a sealed bottle might give you 1 to 2 years, if not longer, and then maybe a year to 6 months after opening. Like any developer, take proper precautions when using and disposing of any chemicals, although I don't see any major toxic concerns that you would find outside of any other black and white developer. Okay, so today I'm here in historic downtown Oakville. I have, as always, my trusty Rolleiflex 2.8F loaded with Rollei RPX 400, which, as my good friend Bill Smith likes to say, is the perfect film to develop with Rollei Supergrain. I've added a yellow filter to the front and I'll be rating the film at ASA 320. All right, so let's go take a walk and I'm going to tell you a little bit about the applications that I have for Rollei Supergrain. All right, let's go. When it comes to applications, I see Supergrain as a jack of all trades and a developer that could fit into anyone's developing kit as a general purpose developer. It gives clean, consistent results and delivers good results with slow, mid-speed, and fast films. It also has a set of universal times available, which I'll talk about more in the next section. You can use it with almost any film you shoot, and the grain structure doesn't seem to matter. Well, it definitely does give better results with modern emulsions. It does spectacular work with traditional cubic grained films. And even ones that have been a bit of a pain for me, and I'm talking like Rollei Supergrain, Ferrania P30, and Foma Retropan 320. But I also find that it does absolute wonders with films like Rollei's limited edition Paul and Reinhold, and of course Rollei RPX 400. This is a great developer when you don't have a listed time, but know the general box speed or an ideal speed of the film, and it will just get the job done and does a wonderful job doing it. All right, so that covers all of it, all 12 frames shot. I'm not sure if all of them worked out. I'm starting to have a bit of trouble with my Rolleiflex, so it might be time to send it off for another CLA or see if I can't fix it myself. But this is a favorite camera, so it's always good to keep it in good working condition. So that means it's time to send you home and to the lab to get this thing developed and talk a little bit about what makes the Supergrain developer pretty much a universal one. And I'll see you back here after it's done and dried. There's no special trick to developing with Supergrain. As a liquid concentrate, you mix it according to 3 different dilutions listed on the bottle. It pours easily and mixes well with water. The 3 dilutions are 1:9, 1:12, and 1:15. While Rollei has supplied an extensive list of times and combinations, it also comes with 3 universal times. At 1:9, it's 6 minutes, 6.5 for 1:12, and 7 flat for 1:15. That means even if there's no officially listed times, you can shoot your roll at box speed or maybe plus minus a third stop, and then develop using those times and dilutions. As for the dilutions, there is very little difference in quality of the images between them. It all depends on how economical you want to be with the developer and how long you want to stretch your bottle. The developer does respond well to mechanical agitation using a rotating base like a Jobo or a Bees processor, as well as working with standard hand agitation techniques. I do recommend using an acid stop bath due to the short developing times and strong mixes, and then just use your standard rapid fix to finish off the rolls. Now, don't let the name of the developer confuse you. Supergrain doesn't make your grain look super visible. In fact, it does an excellent job in tanning grain while maintaining your edge sharpness. I honestly don't think there's a film out there that Supergrain doesn't like, and I've developed some interesting films with it. And if a developer could reduce grain while giving you sharp results from Rollei Superpan 200 or Foma Retropan 320, providing you don't scratch your negatives with a gritty squeegee, then you have a winning developer. Plus, it does some of the best work I've seen with Rollei RPX 400. And that's not all. On slower film, it produces amazing results. And I'm talking Rollei RPX 25, Fuji Neopan Acros 100, have both produced excellent results, helping to preserve highlights and shadow detail at the same time. That must be its semi-leveling feature. It also works well on traditional and modern grain films without missing a beat. When it comes to contrast, there's really no change. It allows the film's inherent contrast to shine. Now, the one thing I haven't tried is the universal times, but you know what? I kind of wish I had done that with the Kodak recording film 2475. I might have gotten better results from it. Alright, so that about covers it for this review. Let me know in the comments if you have used Rollei Supergrain and what your thoughts of it are. What's your favorite combination? And where do you pick it up? I'm lucky in the sense that I can pick it up from a specialty camera store such as Burlington Camera or order it online, which makes it super accessible for me. And it's great because I have a small space in which to store my supplies, so the small bottle is great. And as always, if you have a burning question for me that you want to hear me answer, leave it in the comments also using the hashtag AskALP. And as always, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that bell notification icon. And as always, my name's Alex Loke. Shoot what you love, with what you love, on what you love. And remember, Canada, elbows up.